Right now feels like one of those moments in NASCAR where something massive just went down and the entire fan base can sense it, but nobody can quite agree on what it actually means yet. Because on one side, we might be witnessing the beginning of something truly historic, the kind of streak that people reference for decades. But on the other side, the chatter around the garage, across social media, throughout the fan base, it's already getting messy. Way messier than it probably should be. And that's exactly what makes this whole situation so captivating right now. Something just unfolded in the Cup Series that we practically never see in modern NASCAR, the kind of season opener that makes the entire field pause and look around like, hold on, what is happening right now? Some fans are embracing it like the rise of a new dynasty. Others are side-eyeing it, raising questions, drawing connections that may or may not actually exist. And honestly, that friction right there is precisely why this story has the entire NASCAR world on fire today. So in this video, we're going to unpack everything that just played out, the performance that stunned the garage, the reactions from within the sport, and why this moment is already generating way more controversy than anyone anticipated this early in the year. But before we get into it, real quick, if you're a true NASCAR fan like me who lives for these kinds of moments week after week, go ahead and smash that like button and consider subscribing to the channel. Daily NASCAR is a brand new channel, and the mission right now is to reach our first 1,000 subscribers with genuine fans who love dissecting NASCAR the way we do. Now, let's dive into what actually went down. Because when you map the whole thing out piece by piece, this start to the 2026 season is genuinely jaw-dropping. An unprecedented beginning. The driver at the epicenter of all this is Tyler Reddick, piloting the number 45 machine for 23XI Racing. And what he just accomplished at Circuit of the Americas didn't just produce another victory, it carved his name into the NASCAR history books all by itself. Let's rewind for a moment. Reddick launched the 2026 campaign by capturing the Daytona 500, one of the most coveted wins any driver can achieve in this sport. Every single driver in that garage fantasizes about hoisting that trophy. But then he backed it up by winning again the very next weekend at Atlanta. So right there, he had already achieved something exceptional. NASCAR's own race reports highlighted that only 6 drivers in Cup Series history had ever begun a season by sweeping the first 2 events. But then came March 1st at Circuit of the Americas, and that's where things elevated from impressive to genuinely historic. Because Tyler Reddick won again. 3 events, 3 victories. No driver in the entire existence of the NASCAR Cup Series had ever launched a season by claiming the first 3 races. Not Richard Petty, not Dale Earnhardt, not Jeff Gordon, not Jimmy Johnson. Absolutely nobody. Until now. And the wildest part, this wasn't some fortunate strategy gamble or fuel mileage lottery that landed in his favor late. Reddick fired off from the pole position, commanded 58 of the 95 laps, and crossed the stripe by almost 4 seconds. That's pure domination. And it unfolded at a circuit where the guy hunting him down at the end of the afternoon is universally regarded as one of the finest road course racers on the planet. Dethroning the road course master. Shane Van Gisbergen rolled into Circuit of the Americas attempting to match Jeff Gordon's Cup Series record with a 6th consecutive road course triumph. That's the caliber of dominance he had established on these circuits. But instead of stretching that streak further, he spent the closing laps pursuing Reddick and never quite getting close enough to launch an attack. After the checkered flag, Reddick opened up about how mentally draining those final circuits were. He knew precisely who was lurking behind him. And on a road course, the absolute last person you want glued to your rear bumper is Shane Van Gisbergen. Reddick said the approach was straightforward. Protect the interval, stay disciplined, and don't hand him anything, because SVG rarely offers you a second opportunity if you slip up. And yet, the number 45 squad kept him at bay regardless. For Reddick, this represented a massive personal milestone too. He actually described it as a world-class achievement for himself and for the entire 23XI racing program. And what amplified the satisfaction, according to him, was that the organization had been irritated for some time about being outpaced on road courses. So conquering a venue like COTA against competitors like Van Gisbergen carried extra significance. Zooming out. But the narrative doesn't end there, because when you pull back and examine the wider lens, the full picture becomes even more compelling. Reddick's remarkable surge is even staggering when you recall that he went entirely winless throughout the 2025 campaign. Now, overnight, he's become the most dominant driver in the entire sport. And for 23XI racing, this stretch is groundbreaking in its own right, too. Fox's race coverage noted that 23XI has now become the first organization to capture the opening 3 races of a NASCAR season since Petty Enterprises pulled it off way back in 1963. That's elite company. When your team is suddenly being referenced alongside icons like Petty Enterprises in the record books, every single crew in the garage is going to take notice. And so is the broader sports universe too, particularly because of who owns this operation: Michael Jordan. The GOAT weighs in. After the race, Jordan delivered a quote that instantly detonated across the internet. He declared, "It's time to change." Now, some people immediately attempted to twist that into a shot at NASCAR or a signal of some deeper confrontation. But when you absorb his complete remarks, that's not genuinely what he was conveying. What Jordan was expressing is that this moment represents a turning point for 23XI racing, a shift in how the team is perceived, a shift in where they rank in the competitive hierarchy of the NASCAR garage. And here's another noteworthy wrinkle. Jordan is confirmed to be attending Phoenix next weekend as Reddick chases 4 consecutive victories. So 23XI Racing isn't retreating from the attention right now. They're charging headfirst into it. The Kurt Busch response. Another reaction that genuinely moved fans came from Kurt Busch. Busch, of course, was the inaugural pilot of the number 45 car before his concussion compelled him to step away from full-time competition. After Reddick's triumph, Kurt openly congratulated Reddick, Denny Hamlin, Michael Jordan, crew chief Billy Scott, and the entire 23XI family. He expressed that he couldn't be more proud and labeled the accomplishment as history. And that carries real weight, because Kurt Busch helped forge the identity of that number 45 program. Now he's observing the car he once commanded become the focal point of the NASCAR universe. But now we need to address the segment of this story that has generated the most turbulence. Because while countless fans are applauding what Reddick and 23XI are accomplishing, another faction of the fan base is already growing skeptical. Online discussions, forums, and talk radio-style commentary have begun circulating a theory. Some people are highlighting that 23XI and Row Motorsports resolved their antitrust lawsuit with NASCAR back in December. That lawsuit had been looming over the sport since 2024. So now that 23XI abruptly can't stop winning, a pocket of fans are linking those events and speculating that something transpired behind closed doors as part of that resolution. But right now, that's the entirety of it, a theory. There is zero evidence backing it up. In fact, the most compelling evidence refuting it is the race itself. First, NASCAR's official post-race technical inspection uncovered no irregularities with the number 45 car. Everything checked out clean. Second, the driver who crossed the line in second, Shane Van Gisbergen, had every justification to voice concerns if something appeared suspicious, but he didn't. Instead, he commended Reddick and acknowledged that the number 45 machine was simply superior. He explained that his own squad just lacked a touch of rotation and a bit of forward drive compared to Reddick. So if fans are sensing that something peculiar is unfolding, it's rooted more in timing and emotion than anything concrete. That said, It's also entirely understandable why the chronology fuels speculation, because 23XI's explosion is occurring mere months after the legal confrontation with NASCAR concluded. In sports, whenever a conflict resolves and one party suddenly starts dominating immediately afterwards, people instinctively begin drawing connections, even when those connections don't genuinely hold together. The commercial angle. According to Front Office Sports, NASCAR is currently receiving its greatest visibility yet from Michael Jordan as a team proprietor. Jordan attracts enormous headlines, but whether that translates into expanded television audiences remains uncertain. The Daytona 500 this year attracted 7.5 million viewers, representing an 11% jump compared to the weather-impacted 2025 broadcast. But the Atlanta event averaged 4